Hello, a very good morning and welcome to day number 4, the final day of the World Para-Alpine Skiing Championships here in Kranjska Gora before we move on to Slalom at the start of next week. It's women's slalom day on day number 4, and as you can see, the weather is a lot better than yesterday, so they'll be hoping conditions on the course are a bit kinder as well. And speaking of yesterday, it's time to take a look back at a brilliant day number 3. With our winner once again, same as day number 1, Jeroen Kampstra. That's 2 out of 3. We spoke on Monday, 1 out of 3. You've now done the double. How do you feel?
I feel amazing. Like I said, slalom's the favorite. I had a great time. It was still hard, you know. It was a lot harder than the first run. It was a little slippery, but yeah, I still managed to keep working, and until the end, it was quite an experience to keep on going, you know. It was hard to keep focusing and because there were a lot of small mistakes, but still I let the ski just go in speed, so it was good.
2 in 2. You are absolutely ecstatic with number 1. How does number 2 feel?
The number 2 was really difficult. It's a long slope, really, and in the last part I was, you can do it, and I saw the red line in the snow. I say it's here when you can't stop behind this line, and I did it again.
Well, welcome back to the slopes in Slovenia. Day number 3 was as crazy as the weather, joined by our commentator Alan March. And Alan, we saw on the highlights there something that we maybe weren't expecting to see if we watched the action yesterday. Jakub Krakau left the slope as a gold medalist, but by the time we crowned them at the victory ceremony, it was Giacomo Bertagnoli. What happened?
So as the saying goes, it's never over until it's actually over, and that's when the medals get put round the neck. Bertagnoli is the winner because Krakau's run was reviewed. He's found to have straddled one of the gates, and them's the rules. You can't straddle a gate, so Krakau, under review, out, disqualified, which means Bertagnoli took the title.
As simple as that, basically. And as we look ahead to day number 4, hopefully we're going to see no such disqualifications. It's horrible, of course, for the athletes, but you can't rule anything out in slalom. It's such a crazy method of alpine skiing. What are we expecting today? We'll start with the VI. Can anyone top Henrietta Farkasova? Mena Fitzpatrick did it in Pyeongchang. Can she do it here today?
Yeah, it's not necessarily just about the fact that it was snowing. The conditions for the first 2 days were quicker, they were icier, so the ladies, like the men, over the first 2 days, have now got completely different conditions. There's a lot more snow under their skis. It's a lot softer in parts, so they've then got to learn. Now, the VI's more interesting. It's the guide who's got to figure out, as they come down and done their test run, which way do I need to go? How can I get my skier to the bottom? Can anybody stop Farkasova? Well, we do have the Paralympic champion on this occasion. Mena Fitzpatrick, Jen Keogh, they will know the recipe that they need to cook up to beat Farkasova, but can they do it again? Here at the World Championships, that's the battle.
It certainly is, and in the standing, it's Marie Bochet. Can anyone stop it? It's interesting, actually, speaking to her on day number 2. She says she still finds this incredibly difficult. She's her own worst critic, and that's almost, it's the mark of a champion, isn't it?
Yeah, sometimes that little bit of self-doubt creeps into the mind, doesn't it? And you beat yourself. And we see that in all of the top athletes. Just that every now and again, they'll just stop and they can't get past that little hurdle. What they've got to get past this time is that she is the reigning Paralympic champion, but she's not the reigning world champion. So can she now add that title and get it back from a previous world championships?
And in the sitting, not a shock per se, but not necessarily the battle we were expecting on day number one between the two Germans, Forster and Schaffelhuber. But Muraoka is going to feel so confident coming into this race, and it looks like a three-way battle in that one.
Yeah, I don't see it as a shock. I saw Muraoka throughout the World Cup last season, and I kept thinking there's a little bit missing from Muraoka's game, and if she can find it, she could end up being huge in this sport, and she found it in Pyeongchang. She took that gold title. I think she's the lady to beat now in the sit ski because she's younger. I think she's just a little bit more energetic, and she's a little bit braver in some of the turns, and I think that's done her really, really well over the last 18 months. Yes, a surprise to some, but if you watched all of last season's World Cup, you'd have seen Muraoka there or thereabouts, and you could sense that something big was coming. It came in Pyeongchang. I think she's going to carry on.
And it certainly came on day number 2 as well. Really looking forward to today. It is women's Alpine Slalom, and we can't wait to watch it. It is just moments away. Well, as we bid goodbye to Alan, he's hot-footed it up to the commentary box to get ready for run number 1 on day number 4. The final day, as I mentioned, of the skiing here in Kranjska Gora. We will miss it terribly, but it is on to Slalom at the start of next week. Who is going to take the titles in the women's slalom? It is all up for grabs today. Don't forget to get in touch with us on social media. Use the hashtag Paralpine, and we are at Paralpine on Twitter, on Instagram, and on Facebook as well. Pleasure to have you with us this morning. We hope you're in for a show. We certainly hope so as well, and we expect nothing less from our gold standard women. The Paralpine Slalom women's event is...
Thank you very much to Stephen Jameson. He keeps making it out that I run from those interviews up to this commentary box. Not a chance. Not a chance. Thank you very much for joining me and the team here in Kranjska Gora. We head towards Slalom, but if you want to get in touch before that, just like our hard-at-work camera operators, then why don't you get us a picture or a message sent in, hashtag Kranjska Gora 2019. That's exactly where we are, Kranjska Gora. It's exactly where we want to be, and we're exactly on course for 4 days of fantastic action over the slalom. The 2 giant slalom days are done. The men's events here in Slovenia are done. The 4th and final day in Slovenia is the women's slalom, and conditions pretty much as they were yesterday. There's a little bit of snow starting to fall, has been for the last 20 or so minutes, but nothing to the volume of yesterday. It stopped snowing around about 1 or 2 o'clock this morning, so they've managed to smarten the course up. And the Podkaren 3 course is ready to go one final time. Don't forget, we're here for a World Cup event a little bit later in the calendar as well. But these are the 5 ladies that will tackle the course first. Menna Fitzpatrick, the reigning Paralympic champion over slalom. Can she add the world title? The youngster from Macclesfield in England. There she is, waiting, ready. Herself and guide Jen Keogh with a fantastic rapport, they really do. As in sync off the course as they are on it. It will be the Paralympic champion that gets us moving first. Again, a big warm welcome to anybody just joining us. If you've never seen VI skiing, vision impaired skiing, then all of our skiers are classified B1 to B3. Those in the B1 category have the least visual acuity. B3 would have the highest. All skiers use a guide. Each guide has a microphone with the capability of talking to their athlete via Bluetooth. The athletes themselves will often have a microphone to talk back. And it's the guide's job to instruct their skier as quickly, as safely, as calmly through the course as possible. This is the tough right-hander that will slow everybody down on the course this morning. I was watching them doing their review of the course. All the athletes were taking a good, long, hard look at that corner a moment ago. Well, that turn, should I say. So the first time in the morning belongs to Menna Fitzpatrick, 107.79, a wave from Jen Keogh, the lady from the Army. 34 now. Next up is Melissa Perrine, Australian silver medalist in the giant slalom, ahead of Menna Fitzpatrick. And she got ahead in the first run of the Brit. Fitzpatrick with long-time guide Keogh, Perrine with new guide Bobby Kelly. Self-proclaimed legend, she says. Well, she's already a World Championship medalist, and she's guiding Perrine down inside the first intermediate time of Fitzpatrick in this first run. Saw these two in Zagreb at the World Cup as well, and they're already very in sync with each other. Wasn't a shock that Bobby Kelly was introduced as the guide for Melissa Perrine. Coach Christian wanting to get back to being Coach Christian, and Bobby had been asked before, and now she's taking 30-year-old Australian Perrine through the line at 105.53.
Next one up, another break. Kelly Gallagher.
3, 2, 1, let's go. Up.
Kelly Gallagher out on the course with long-time guide Gary Smith. First two athletes classified as B2. Kelly and Henrietta are B3. Means that they have a different factored time, the bottom right-hand side of your screen. And we get some 3 seconds back in the opening stages. Three-year-old just missing out on a medal on the opening. That's a big slide. That's the tricky right-hander. Into the final few gates then. She was 4 seconds back. She was pretty much vertical as she crossed the line. And she realises that's not her best run, but second run still to come. Try and make something back on that. So Perrine from Fitzpatrick, from Gallagher at the moment. This lady that took 4 from 5 in Pyeongchang. Took 4 from 5 in Tarvisio. The aim is to do 5 from 5, but at the moment she's behind Perrine. Fakasova. Already 1 goal to the good, little slippy in parts. She's still behind, 0.46. This is huge at the moment for Melissa Perrine and Bobby Kelly. How quick can Fakasova get through this bottom section? Can she make up that 0.46? Will she go into the second run ahead? It's the usual position for the Slovakians. No, 0.32. Well, Farkasova desperate to do 5 from 5 at a major event. Will she be denied again? Anna Pliskova. Pliskova, 32-year-old from Kielce. 11th place in the Super G in Pyeongchang. Guided down by Michaela Bakova. Pliskova, 11.5 down. Again, only the Paralympics to her name so far. Means that she's very much still in the learning part of her VI skiing career. She is 32, but only just starting to make it onto the main scene. Pliskova into the final few gates. It's slow and steady, but there's no mistakes in the sense of missing out any of the gates. So some 20-odd seconds the difference. Melissa Perrine has the lead over Henrietta Farkasova. Stephen Jamieson was talking about surprises in any of these categories, and we weren't convinced we'd get one. However, we thought the challenge for Farkasova would come from Menna Fitzpatrick. It hasn't at the moment. It's come from the Australian pairing of Perrine and Kelly. But Henrietta Farkasova is a tough, tough lady to beat. And the second run, of course, all important here in Kranjska Gora. It is Australia in top position. Is there a World Championship gold on the horizon for this pair? Three golds in 2015 for Perrine. Can she add another to that marvellous collection? It's the women's standing event coming up next. Frédéric Turgeon will go first. He was so disappointed to have gone out on day one. Anna Maria Rida, Marie Bochet, Andrea Rothfuss. It is a great lineup in the women's standing event. But can anybody stop Marie Bochet? Phenomenal on the first day of action for the ladies. Anna Ramsey will feel like she's in the mix as well. So it is Frédéric Turgeon, Fred. There's a lot caller. Just 19 years of age, from Montreal. Double success in the World Cup in Zagreb. Brought her here believing there was a World Championship medal on offering. To have gone down on the first day, bitterly disappointed. She received lots of supportive messages through social media, even the great para swimmer Benoit Huot sending messages in, and there's a man that knows how to win gold medals for Canada. in the water, not on the slopes. But even he took the time out to send his message of support to Frédéric Turgeon, and the Canadian will get to the bottom, it looks like here, and set a first time. Oh, real wobble towards the end, but it just goes to show how much he's putting in. 108.89. She looks upwards and then back towards the scoreboard. It's a time that's registered. And just touching upon something that was mentioned at the beginning of the show, the athletes have to go round the gates with both of their skis. If either one of the skis goes the wrong side of the gate or straddles the gate as it's known, and you are disqualified. These things can happen without being spotted in the broadcast. Somebody on the circuit can note it. There is a review process, and that's exactly what happened in the men's VI yesterday. So something to be aware of, that is the results as they cross the line, not necessarily always complete and official straight away. Protest period has to be adhered to. Anna-Maria Rida chasing down on the opening time from Turgeon. I thought Turgeon looked quick, and already he has 2.21 seconds over Anna-Maria. 18-year-old.
Anna-Maria Rida now close to the finish line with German fans.
Expected to be a big name in the women's standing class.
Her time, 1:12.
But she's some 3.44 seconds down. A round of applause from the ladies and gentlemen at the side with their big flags. Might have seen at the beginning of the program the interview from a few days ago, and Annie Bochet just has that little self-doubt every now and again about whether she's quick enough, whether the others have got quicker, and look how quick she is over the opening section. 2.6 inside Frédéric Turgeon's time. 4.17 now. 24-year-old.
Already won the giant slalom race here, and now she's trying to secure another win.
Looking for a 60th World Championship gold. She's got 15. Will she make it 16? That's a tremendous, tremendous run from Bochet. 103.24, 5.65 seconds ahead of second place so far. This is the reigning world champion, Andrea Rothfuss. Over time, Rothfuss has been the lady to stop Bochet twice in Tarvisio. The giant slalom and slalom belonged to Rothfuss, but even she is struggling to keep pace with an ever-improving Bochet. Olympic gold back in 2014 couldn't stop Bochet in Pyeongchang. 4 silvers and a bronze in Korea.
Andrea Rothfuss
Rothfuss on course for second,
had a good run in
barring any
slalom.
mistakes at the
To
bottom.
finish in the second run now.
106.84, so it's Bochet,
106.84,
Rothfuss,
second place.
Turgeon
Second
as the
chance
top
for
3.
Andrea Rothfuss to get a medal.
She's Petra Smartsova. Year-old, the distinctive pink helmet that she always chooses, the very long hair hanging out of the back, almost covering the bib numbers on the back. 4 seconds or so back. Silvers in the 2011 World Championships, again in both of those in the slalom event, so this is the favoured discipline
In the giant slalom event.
for the
Third
Slovakian.
place for her there. Now she's fighting to get another one.
Lady born without her left hand, so only knows how to ski this way with the pole in the right.
Her time 1:12.38, fifth place
She's
for her.
competing at the highest level, and even she is finding it tough. 1:12.38 after a drops into bottom spot in 5th. 7 more to come, including this lady, Alana Ramsey, silver medal winner. In the opening day. Molly Jepson for the Canadian team due to ill health, so get well soon, Molly. I'm sure she's watching and supporting her teammates. Canada without Matt Marcoux as well on the injured list. This is good from Ramsey. Oh, and then this is the tough left into a right. And a big slide from the 24-year-old. Was on course to go second. 4.75 behind, which will put her into 3rd position. It was great over the opening section. She was closer than anyone to Boucher. Ramsey goes ahead of Turgeon. Oh, and down goes Krater in the early stages. Now she's desperately trying to make her way back up to get through the gate legally. Krater continues her first run. Single leg skier from Switzerland, already 17 seconds back. That's all about damage limitation now. So hard to maintain any speed. Saw Thomas Walsh yesterday in the men's standing event miss a few gates, but go back up and try his best to carry on. He chose not to run his second run in the end. But Krater gets through to the line, 25.45 behind, so it's 1:28.69 for Switzerland's Krater. Third of the Canadians, this is Mel Pemble. Two 9s and an 11 in both the Super G and Giant Slalom for Mel Pemble. It was a DNF in the actual slalom event, but it was an enjoyable Paralympic Games nonetheless. Bumped into Mel's parents on a couple of occasions out there, originally from Great Britain, moving over to Vancouver in 2009, so for a decade, give or take. Pembles have been over there in Canada. Doing well on this bottom section, working very hard to make this look smooth. How quick will it be?
Time's going to be
1:15.73 for Pemble. Ami Hondo from Japan. Just 22. Lives in Tokorozawa. Has a factored time of 100%, so what's on the clock is accurate. Already some 5 seconds back. Having only competed at the Paralympic Games before. This is her first World Championships. She used to play rugby sevens for Japan as a youth, despite being born without fingers on her left hand. So a very sporty Ami Hondo. Hondo gets across the line to set her time. Hondo goes into 7th, that 1:13.59, and therefore 7. This is Ilma Kazadzic. '20-year-old. Was the flag bearer for Bosnia and Herzegovina at the opening ceremony of the Paralympic Games in Pyeongchang. Very much wants to keep improving and make her way to the 2022 Games in Beijing. The stars of the Bosnia flag on the right leg of Ilma Kazadzic. Long blonde hair flowing out of the back of the white helmet. The youngster from Sarajevo. And the first Bosnian athlete to compete
the Bosnian racer
in Alpine skiing at the Winter Games. And she did that in Sochi. She competed in Pyeongchang as well, so already a 2-time Paralympian. Her aims are to make it number 3. This is Gyo Jiaxin, just 19, from Handan. First major event for this lady. Another starting now and hoping the journey ends by being able to compete in 2022.
already.
Just the ability to use the ski pole in the right hand and
the women's slalom race.
very little movement on the left side.
She's going to cross the finish line.
That is 1:20.92 for the first of the 2 Chinese athletes towards the end of this women's standing event. This is Wang Qingyun. Wang also just 20, and also competing at her first major international tournament. 10 seconds back at the opening intermediate time. You see it on the right hand side of your screens. Wang into the final few gates then, around these final few poles, and this will be a clean run so far today for every athlete. Very much different to their first day on the slopes. The Annalena Forster fan club, as we look at the standings for the standing women after one run. It is Marie Bochet in the ever familiar position of first place, second belonging to Andrea Rothfuss, 106.84. Alana Ramsey leads the battle of the Canadians in third. Frédéric Turgeon will be hoping she can elevate herself from fourth onto the podium here at these World Championships. Second run of that event coming up later on this afternoon. So look back at Bochet, her style, her speed, the ease of which Marie Bochet takes on every course. Is this the time she takes 5 from 5? She's very much on course to take the first 2, isn't she? Now, Stephen Jameson said, maybe to some, Mamuka Maraoka winning on day number 2 here in Kranjska Gora was a surprise. I countered that argument at the beginning of the program by saying that Maraoka is just getting quicker and quicker. Annalena Forster, Heikki Eder mean that we have all 3 of the Paralympic medalists on offer to come straight out of the gates, and Maraoka just having some last-minute maintenance to the mono ski. Those bucket seats sat on top of the adjustable shocks. They are then clipped into a singular ski, and we bring you a mono ski. And Mamuka Maraoka was able to take the giant slalom title at the World Championships just as she did in Pyeongchang. Can she go one better than the silver she picked up in Pyeongchang in the slalom? Not the quickest through this flat section, but we'll wait and see how the rest combat the same part. Maraoka just throwing her arms into the air and balancing herself to keep on going. 21-year-old from Saitama. Knows the inflammation of the spinal cord when she was just 4. Another that was a flag bearer at the opening ceremony in Pyeongchang. He was a standard bearer in the giant slalom here. She has to set the first time of the course for the 6 skiers this morning. Maraoka into the final 6 or 7 gates she comes then. Not far from the line at all. Shouldn't be too difficult from here, he says. Maraoka gets across the line, 1:16.39. We'll have to see how quick that is in a moment. Large areas of slow movement through the course. Is it just Maraoka? We'll be having difficulties. 36.30 is the first intermediate time. This is Annalena Forster, reigning Paralympic champion, some 2.91 seconds ahead then, so it did appear that Morocco had an issue at the top end. The gap would suggest that's true, so Forster needs to push on from here and put a little distance between herself and the rest. The bronze medalist from Pyeongchang, Heike Eder, is next to go. Big slide here from Forster. She's 4.6 seconds up. This is a good run. On 16.39, the time to beat for the 23-year-old as she comes to the line, punching the air as she does so. 6.52 seconds up. The Paralympic champion is now the leader. Paralympic bronze medalist from 2018 starts the chase. Year-old. Third in those Paralympics, the first ever major event medal she'd got. She went to Tarvisio and got a 5th and a 6th in both the slalom events. 2.68 back. Muraoka is some 6.5 seconds back, so if Ada can get inside that, oh no, it's getting through the gates now. That proves too difficult for the Austrian. She's down, but she hasn't missed any of the gates. There was no slide as she went down. She got all caught up in the gate post. All too common mistake in the sit skiers, but through the line comes Heike Eder, and it was nigh on perfect until the bottom 10 gates, and the Austrian has to settle for third. This is Anna Schaffelhuber. I think the German team will be confident of a 1-2 here. Forster and Schaffelhuber, exceptionally talented. 5-year-old is inside Forster's time. Bottom half of this course has proved to be the most difficult. Muraoka having trouble finding pace in the opening section of the course. That cost her dearly all the way through, but there were no such issues for Forster. We've seen Heike Eder struggle at the bottom. The gap is closing. 0.66. This is the part where you can lose speed. Oh, Schaffelhuber just gets inside the right side of the red gate a moment ago. As that cost her too much time. 1:09.87 is the lead time. This will be tight, but it won't be quick enough. 0.75 the difference, so those mistakes at the bottom for Schaffelhuber means that she's in second. This is the American Anna Beninati. Beninati, opportunity here to put in a good time and leave herself maybe in 4th or 5th position. She's 3.74 down. Remember, Muraoka is 6.52 seconds down. Beninati can find some speed in this bottom section. 25-year-old from San Antonio, Texas. There's a DNF in the second run on the opening day in her debut at the World Championships. She'll be desperate to get a finish. Desperate to get that monoski across the line. Really having to twist and turn.
Now a couple more gates to go.
Driving the back edge of the singular ski into every turn, but she is going to get across the line.
19.08 is going to be enough for the fourth place.
She's inside Hakieda. Delight at the bottom for Anna Benanati. She goes into fourth position. Swapping wheels for blades. This is Barbara van Bergen, multiple wheelchair basketball medal winner. Giving it a crack as a winter athlete now. 40-year-old. Desperately trying to find a world championship medal. 7.9 back though, has had the same difficulties at the top section as Muraoka. Oh, and she's got backwards, and sliding out goes Barbara van Bergen.
That's a DNF for Barbara van Bergen.
Final two athletes, both from the People's Republic of China, and this is Liu Xitong having difficulties already. We're just some 10 or so seconds in, and I think Xitong has realised she's too many gates out. No, she's carrying on. We'll see if the Chinese team find their athlete reviewed at the end of that. I'm not 100% sure she went through all of the gates she was meant to, so already the review has been asked for. So at the end of this run, Liu Xitong will find herself being reviewed for that section of the course, but for now she's still going and still desperate to get to the bottom and set a time. 24 years old, has competed at paracycling at World Championship level, came 8th in the road race of 2015. Did pick up a 6th place finish in the slalom in Pyeongchang, but this is well off the pace due to that error early on, and almost again letting the back end come away from her. We saw Barbara van Bergen just get too square, and all of a sudden the gravity took the back end. But Liu Xitong will, it would appear, get to the line eventually, and that time is 1:47.01, but that will go under review, I would imagine. Final athlete of the morning, this is Zhang Wenjing. Just 16, so very much all about learning at these World Championships for Zhang. Says her aim is to indeed compete for the 2022 Games of Beijing. I'm sure over the next few years these turns will get tighter, she'll get quicker. And the more you do it, the more confident you get each and every time. But at the moment, this is a very nervy 16-year-old performance, it has to be said. Already some 20 seconds back, now 35 at the second intermediate. She is just making sure she gets through the gates. She is into the very final section, so Zhang Wenjing, cautious approach might just pay off in terms of reaching the bottom. 16-year-old into the final 4 gate she comes then, and across the line she does get a recognised time, 48.67. She DNF'd in her first run at the World Championships, not this time around. So Zhang Wenjing crosses the line to register her first ever World Championship time. Well done to her. We always remind people with parasports and sport in general, it's not always about winning for some of those athletes. It's definitely about winning for Annalena Forster and Anna Schaffelhuber. That's going to be an interesting second run between them. You feel like the mistakes in the early part of Momoka Muraoka's first run will be too costly. A mistake from either Muraoka or the 2 German athletes could allow people like Anna Beninati to take a medal in her first World Championships. Heike Eder will be disappointed to be down in 5th, having picked up a Paralympic medal in Pyeongchang. So the early pace setters in the women's sitting event both come from Germany. Schaffelhuber had the best of the runs as we reach the end of the first session here on day 4 of the World Para-Alpine Skiing Championships.
Ja, maar ja, ik weet niet hoe, ik kan niet lezen hoeveel je natuurlijk achterop maar moet je er ook weer niet lekker snel voor gaan. Dit misschien kan je
A run that was greeted with cheers and flag waving. And Germany make it a 1-2. You'll have to join us at 12:50 local time when we are back live on air on your screens, on your devices, however it is that you're watching the World Para-Alpine Skiing Championship. Don't forget, for extra content, you can follow all the social media channels at Para-Alpine. You can get in touch by using the hashtag Kranjska Gora 2019. We'll see you later on.